All right, so I want to move on to the next topic here, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button. We're sitting at 192 likes. We're on the cusp of crushing 200 likes. I really appreciate that, guys. We have the supposed insider known as Silk Knight, who just appeared out of nowhere. To give you a little bit of context, the reason why this person is being considered an insider is because they were the first person to announce when, I think it was like about a week and a half before, but they were the first person to announce when Ghost of Tsushima's PC version would be announced, and they were correct about that. So now people believe that this person is an insider or might have inside information. Take it with a massive grain of salt, okay? But he says, or they say, I don't know, they say, I understand that some people may feel demotivated by the announcement of some remasters and remakes, but keep in mind that these developments are undergoing a very lengthy process and it's necessary to shake things up a bit. Sony has yet to stop their remaster machine, and currently there are a couple of remakes in the pipeline. However, 2025 is shaping up to be a significant year for the PlayStation brand. And he answers a couple of questions here. One of the questions he answers is somebody was asking, is there anything happening with a Killzone or Resistance remake? And he just says no. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anybody who's hoping for something Killzone or Resistance related. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Something else I want to say really quick, and this has caused people to believe that this person is not an insider and they're a liar. Okay, and yeah, I mean, look, this person could just have gotten lucky. I want to make that clear. They said, I want to clarify that I'm not the person who mentioned the purchase of Arrowhead by Sony. I don't belong to any gaming forum or any other group related to the industry. That's not going to happen. I guess he's referencing that he's not going to be part of any group because he says Sony has had plans to acquire Arrowhead for a while, and considering that Helldivers 2 sales are close to surpassing 10 million units, I imagine that will go through. So that has led people to believe that this person cannot actually be an insider because that's the question. Is like he's claiming that Helldivers 2 is about to surpass 10 million units sold. Do we believe that? 10 fucking million units? I think a lot of people are like, no way. You're saying the CEO debunked it? Did he debunk the 10 million sold? If he debunked the 10 million sold, then that's significant. If you're talking about the acquisition, well, yeah, okay. So if you're talking about the acquisition, the CEO did say that, like, let me, hold on. Let's see if I don't know if I can find it. Yeah, he debunked the rumor that they were going to get acquired, but I want to read it word for word. I just don't know if I'm going to find it though. He replies to a lot of people. Okay, yeah. So this person said here, this on March 5th, they said this should happen, but it would be stupid of them to announce this very soon after laying off 900 people recently. And the person posted a picture of PlayStation Studios Arrowhead, welcome to the family. And he said, this is the first I'm hearing of this, and that's a good indication that it's fake. Also, that's a very old logo. So, you know, he replied to somebody else who reposted the same thing, and he said, this is fake unless I've missed something. Also, a really shitty old logo from 2008 when we just started the studio. That's so funny. He's shitting on his own logo, bro. We got Angry Whale Watcher keeping the membership train rolling along today. Angry Whale Watcher, dude, thank you so much for gifting a membership.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bringing us up to 57 members. So 3 away from hitting 60. Thank you for that, buddy. Magnum Gaming saying Bluepoint's CEO also had denied their acquisition. Yes. Look, I'm not trying to get conspiratorial. It's not about that, but it's worth noting that he didn't say we're not getting acquired. He didn't say we're going to remain independent. He just simply said, I haven't heard, like, this isn't true. We have not been acquired. Because I think this is where people sometimes don't quite realize, like, Arrowhead probably want to be acquired, dude. Like, do you know how rich they will get? Like, don't get me wrong, they're already probably rich now, but it's like their value just shot up. So, like, yeah, dude, they're going to get offers, and those offers are probably going to be hard to pass up on. So He's smart to not say, we're not going to be acquired. We don't want to get acquired. We want to be independent. Maybe he will announce that. But he's just simply replying to people who are posting logos, like saying, welcome to the family, saying that hasn't happened. Like, that's not true. Basically trying to make sure that people don't start running with, oh, Arrowhead was acquired. But I will say, dude, like, if you're Sony, you're dumb to not make a huge play for Arrowhead. I'm sorry. Like, you bought all these other no-name studios. You buy, and no offense to them, because maybe they'll be fantastic, but you buy Firewalk, you buy Haven, Bungie isn't a no-name, but you buy all these studios, you buy Firesprite, but the one studio that has a massive hit game for you that's clearly going to be a successful live service, like, you don't buy them, or at least make a play. It makes zero sense to me. And I get it. Would it look bad after laying people off? Yeah, but that's where I think people just don't kind of they don't fully understand where it's like, look, man, there's a difference between buying an established successful team that is profitable, like right now, right? That has just, exploded, essentially. There's a difference between that and laying off people from teams that you built these teams, you hired these teams, you tasked them to make these certain games, and then you're like, this isn't working. There's just a complete difference there. I mean, could Arrowhead hire some of these people? Yes, it's worth noting. I think the CEO of Arrowhead, during the day that Sony announced the layoffs, he said that, hey, we are looking to hire. So if you got laid off, maybe apply. But I just think it's one of these things where Sony's not going to let, at least in my opinion, they wouldn't let the maybe negative image of, okay, we had to lay off 900 people across all different studios and disciplines. They're not going to say, well, it'll look bad if we acquire Arrowhead. Dude, it's business. They're not going to give a shit. Like, if they want to acquire Arrowhead, they're going to fucking acquire them. As long as Arrowhead wants to be acquired. Listen, is it possible that Arrowhead's like, we're solo, bro. Like, we're independent. Yes. However, keep in mind, and this is important. Exactly. Sony owns Helldivers, dude. So, if you're Arrowhead, like, you have legitimate incentive to just be like, you know what, maybe we should just take the offer. They own the IP anyway, and this will just make us richer, and we won't have to worry at all. We'll have even more support. That's my guess. But my whole thing is, like, the 10 million sales. No way, right? Like, I don't know. Like, when I see just how popular the game is, when I see just how popular Helldivers has become, and how, like, it's everywhere, dude. It's everywhere. It's not difficult for me to believe that it may have sold 10 million, because it's only a $40 game. But if they did, they would have announced that, right? That's the thing that gets me, is like, if you sell 10 million, you announce that shit. You don't hide that, right? Here, so just getting back to what the supposed insider had to say, again, they basically confirmed that Sony has quite a few different remakes and remasters in the pipeline. I'm more interested in the remakes than the remasters, potentially, because the remakes are the ones that sound like they have a lot going into it. I'll tell you right now, here's what I think is going to happen. I'm just saying, man, I don't know if this is going to piss people off. I don't think it'll matter, because I think Sony's going to fucking say we're doing it anyway. And I think more people will be excited for it than we realize. I think we're going to get an Uncharted 1 remake. I think we're going to get a God of War 1 remake. I think this is what we're going to get. Are we going to get a MotorStorm? I think we could get a MotorStorm. There was a rumor that MotorStorm is in the works, but I don't know if that's going to turn true or not. I think, we're going to get like a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. Eric with the timeout for the triple spam. Oh, man. What happened to Lucid? Yeah, I don't think they're... Yeah, I don't think Lucid is really... I think they're a support studio now, basically. Our boss's video is going to be on MBG Plus. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I do think that... here's the thing that fascinates me the most, though, about what this insider is saying, supposed insider. He's saying that 2025 is poised to be like a very important year. Like, it's shaping up to be a very important, significant year for PlayStation. And I'm telling you guys, I am so fucking interested. As you know, I know I've been telling you guys this, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I can't help it. I am so interested in how the second half of the PS5 generation is going to play out, especially knowing that Jim Ryan is out. We're getting a new CEO in. We got all these projects that are cooking behind the scenes. We haven't seen a single glimpse of any of them except for Wolverine, right? Like, I am dying to know. Like, here's the question I have. Is the second half of the PS5 generation going to match the PS4 or be better? Dude, the potential is there. I know there are people who hate PlayStation fans, who hate people who are, really into the PlayStation fan base and get excited, into the PlayStation ecosystem and get excited about this shit. But the potential is there, dude. I know there are people who get angry at that because it's like impossible. Impossible. How could Sony do good? Dude, it depends. I mean, look, I don't want to get ahead of my skis here, so to speak, but what's this saying? Breaking news. Millions of PlayStation fans are seeing that some of their digital licenses are missing for their games and they cannot play them currently in their library. People should check. This is why you shouldn't buy your games digitally, people. Well. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that, obviously, yeah, that's you should buy physical, but I haven't heard of this. It has to be some kind of bug or something that Sony's going to have to fix. I'm trying to see if I can find anything on it. I don't see anything, actually, which is weird. Yeah, I would assume if that's a problem you're running into, though, that's very likely a bug that they're going to have to fix or some shit. But buy your games physical, man. Buy your games physical. Dale says every single game I own is physical. Good shit, bro. But yeah, I mean, I think Sony is poised to kill it. Hopefully, the second half of this gen, man. I mean, of course, 2024 might end up ultimately being a weaker year. Not in terms of shows, but, you know, they already kind of made it clear, like, yeah, we're still working on shit. We're still working on it. But let's go down the list here. It's that time again, people. It's that time again. Let's go down the list. Ben Studio, new IP. This new IP will release before the PlayStation 6. So whatever this new IP from Ben Studio is, again, their last game was Days Gone. That's coming. Tall 133 dude with a $2 super chat, fifth time super chatting, saying, I hope Fair Games is stacked with cheaters. Irony. Yeah, that would be quite ironic, wouldn't it? I don't think so, though. Hopefully not. Hopefully not, man. Bluepoint Games. Bluepoint Games has been working on a new game since 2020. So we're going to get another Bluepoint Games title before the end of this gen. Firesprite. Firesprite seems to be in some trouble, but they do apparently have a horror game in development. Assuming that they're able to get their shit together, we'll see that game probably launch before the end of this gen. Firewalk Studios with Concord. Concord is set to launch this year, so we'll find out if Concord is going to be any good or not. We also have, let's see, we have Guerrilla Games. Apparently, Guerrilla Games, we're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see Horizon 3. I don't know, could we see Horizon 3 before the end of this gen? I mean, think about it. Like, Horizon Forbidden West came out in 2022. Next gen isn't going to start until 2028. So, if we do get Horizon 3 before the end of this gen, I think it'll come at the very tail end. Like, it could be like a cross-gen game. But yeah, we will get the online Horizon game. We have Haven Studios. We know that they're working on Fair Games. That's going to come out before the end of this gen. Housemarque has been working on a new IP. I think a lot of people forget about this. It's understandable. We haven't heard from Housemarque in a while, but ever since Returnal shipped in 2021, they've been working on a brand new AAA IP. We will get that game before the end of this generation, assuming none of these games get completely rebooted, which is a possibility. If none of them get completely rebooted or canceled and they have to start over, then I'm assuming these are games we're going to see before the end of the gen. Insomniac Games, well, we know we're getting a Venom game in 2025, and we're getting Wolverine in 2026, if everything goes according to plan. London Studio, rest in peace. Unfortunately, dude, I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, man, they're still listed here. That's sad. Media Molecule. Media Molecule is one of the only teams that I don't think we're going to hear from this gen. Like, I don't think we're going to hear from Media Molecule until next gen. I just get that feeling for some reason. Naughty Dog. Yeah, we have to get a new Naughty Dog game before the end of the gen. It's impossible we don't. That would be unacceptable. We have to get a new game from Naughty Dog before the end of this gen. We have Neon Koi. God, I totally forgot about this studio. They're making a AAA mobile game for Sony. We'll see. Nixus Software, they're doing PC ports. Polyphony Digital. I don't think we'll hear from Polyphony Digital again in terms of a new game release until the PlayStation 6. I think GTA 8. I said GTA 8, didn't I? Yeah, GTA 8. GTA 8, developed by Polyphony Digital. GTA 8 will be a PlayStation 6 game, I think. San Diego Studio, MLB The Show ships every year. San Mateo Studio. San Mateo, they're listed as a support studio for second-party developers. So, Santa Monica Studio. Santa Monica is working on a new IP. That new IP is going to have to ship before the PlayStation 6. So, we'll get a new IP from Santa Monica. Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima 2, let's go. That's happening this generation. Team Asobi, a new Astro game. That's happening this generation. And then we have XDev. There are other games that are being worked on with XDev in partnership with other studios that we don't know about yet. So this is what I'm saying, dude. Like, look at that shit. Look at that. How the fuck are you, like, I'm sorry, man. How could anybody be like, yo, Sony's going to have a shitty end of this gen? I don't think so, dude. I think it's going to be the complete fucking opposite. That's a lot of studios that have been working on shit for a lot of years. So, but yeah, you know, when the supposed insider, if they're to be believed, when they come out and they say, 2025 is poised to be a huge year for Sony, and I didn't count Death Stranding 2. I want to see, dude. I want to see these damn games. Sony, please announce a showcase. Naughty Dog announced in December that it had canceled The Last of Us Online, but stated at the time that it was working on multiple ambitious, brand new single-player games. We've known for a while that at least one of those is being directed by Neil Druckmann, the co-president. Okay, I fucking hate this website, dude. Sorry, it's just like pop-ups of ads. It literally just scrolled me to the top for some reason. But anyway, Neil Druckmann was speaking recently to Logic, the rapper, on his podcast. And after calling the game really ambitious and parts of it really hard to make, he touched on certain contributions of the co-director of The Last of Us Part 2. So let me just read you the quote. Working on this new game, it's really ambitious. Parts of it are really hard. But I've really kind of surrendered to knowing it's going to be really hard, knowing that it's going to stress members of the team out. Like, how do I make this a joyous experience for myself and everybody else on the team? And there's moments where, like, Kurt recently did something on this new game and really stepped up and gave this impassioned pitch. And I was so proud just seeing other people rise to the occasion and surprise me in these really beautiful ways. These days, I get joy out of that, helping mentor people and seeing them express themselves through art. So the big thing here is Neil Druckmann is essentially confirming that this new game that Naughty Dog is working on is apparently, they keep using the term ambitious, guys. They keep using the term ambitious to describe their next game, which is very likely to be a new IP. So don't know that I have a whole lot to say here. I just, I feel like this kind of went a little bit under the radar. I talked about how Neil Druckmann recently said in that same podcast that, like, he doesn't know how many of these big games he has left in him, but he is working on this one, and we'll see, man. Saying, don't talk, Neil, deliver. Saying it sounds like an RPG. I will say, like, I'm really fascinated to see if Naughty Dog goes in a just totally unexpected direction. People, when we talk about Naughty Dog, like, you think of Uncharted. I mean, of course, people think of Jak and Daxter. People think of Crash. But I think these days, people think more so of Uncharted, The Last of Us. Here's why I don't underestimate Naughty Dog as a studio. It is difficult to believe that Naughty Dog is the same they are the same studio that made Crash Bandicoot. They made Crash Bandicoot. And they also made The Last of Us Part 2. It's like, all right, what are the chances that with a new IP, they're just going to be like, let's do it again? Like, let's just go somewhere we've never been before and see if we can make a really great game in a different type of genre. It's not going to be The Last of Us. It's not going to be Uncharted. It's not going to be Jak and Daxter. It's going to be, I don't know, like that'd be interesting, like an RPG. It'd be fascinating, man. But I'm curious. I'm so curious to see Naughty Dog reveal their next game because it's been too long. I don't know if I'm going to like it. Like, I'm assuming it'll make a splash no matter what. But I'm interested in finding out. I think everybody else is feeling the same way. Irvin, you're saying Neil gave high praise to Elden Ring and they wanted to make an open world for a long time. An open world RPG is likely. That would be sick, dude. I will tell you, like, if that's what Naughty Dog's been working on, a new open world, like, action RPG IP. I'm telling you, I think they were, I think you're right. I think we got hints of their next game, dude, in the Grounded 2 documentary, where they're like, yo, we were inspired by Bloodborne. We tried to make The Last of Us 2 like Bloodborne, and we loved Elden Ring. Yeah, it's you know what? It's probably going to be a fucking fantasy RPG, bro. An open world fantasy RPG. That would be fucking sick. A high fantasy setting. Ooh. Yeah, dude, to me, that's how Naughty Dog wins people back. Like, again, I know that people love Naughty Dog no matter what. People love The Last of Us Part 2, but I just mean, like, there's been such a divide anymore with The Last of Us, with Naughty Dog, with Neil Druckmann. And I'm so tired. It's like, dude, if they come out and they're like, here is an open world RPG, action RPG, high fantasy, I'd be like, yo, this is crazy. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. You have no interest in a Naughty Dog Souls-like? I'm very interested in Naughty Dog Souls-like. You know what I bet you, now that I'm thinking about it, what would a Naughty Dog Souls-like be? Think about it. What would the difference be? You know what I think Naughty Dog could do? I bet you Neil Druckmann's like, what if we made, like, our own version of, like, Bloodborne / Elden Ring? But think about what some of the people, it's not a complaint, but it's the flavor of the game, where it's like Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, all these games, they have some of the richest lore of any game series. Like, they all have such amazing lore, such amazing stories. What if they're like, all right, we're going to make, like, a very similar type of game, but we're going to allow the story to present itself in a cinematic way, like we've done with our previous games, like Uncharted and The Last of Us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, what if Naughty Dog ends up creating what is essentially like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or Bloodborne, but with cutscenes and characters and dialogue, you know? Where it's like instead of the lore being written, you know, on item descriptions and kind of being subtle and you have to like figure it out, it's like presented directly. Yeah, I guess kind of like The Witcher in a sense, yeah. But I'm thinking like more high fantasy, although Witcher's pretty high fantasy. Yeah, Witcher's pretty high fantasy. I think that, yeah, I did find that quite peculiar that they were focused on that game. Yeah, actually, I know. Actually, you've lost your enthusiasm. We'll see, man. We'll see. It'll definitely be an interesting day when Naughty Dog reveals their next game, because that's what I'm curious about is if they're going to be able to win people back, myself included. Like, you know, they haven't lost me completely, but, you know, I just think that there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm not really interested in what Naughty Dog does next. But like, there's always that chance of, depending on what they show, I think they could definitely turn heads and make people go, oh, hold on now. I wasn't expecting that. You know, like, who knows? It's hard to say. We'll see. We'll see if Sweet Baby Inc. is involved. Or if you're saying Naughty Dog's still number one for you. But that's what I'm saying, man. They're a divisive studio now. I think they'll find success no matter what, though. You expect them not to show up this gen? There's no way. I'm sorry. Like, I can't accept that, dude. A whole, like, 8-year generation with not one single new game? Like, what? If that happens, I'd be shocked at the level of mismanagement. But we'll see. I don't know. You really got my brain going, though, man. I won't lie. Like, you got, like, almost like the conspiracy theorist in me going, where it's like, you know, I did find it so fascinating that when I was watching the Grounded 2 documentary, that there were just these long sections where like, yeah, did you know that we tried to make The Last of Us 2 like Bloodborne? We were so inspired by it. And Elden Ring. We love Elden Ring. Although I don't know, I mean, it's like to me, that was just so like, okay, all right, kind of weird. You know, like I wasn't expecting that. And then they're describing their new game as really ambitious. I mean, if you think about it, if the developers at Naughty Dog are tired of making such grim, dark worlds, working on some kind of high fantasy action RPG would definitely be a change of pace. And it could still be dark, I guess, in a way. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of interesting. You know, isn't it kind of interesting that it hasn't leaked yet? I find that quite fascinating. Like, so everything else has leaked out of Naughty Dog except like their new projects, you know, like their new games, like what they're working on. It's very interesting to me. So I guess at this point where I'll leave it is Naughty Dog, specifically in their blog posts and in interviews like with Neil Druckmann, they've teased over and over again that we have multiple new games. We have multiple new games, not counting The Last of Us multiplayer that was canceled. Well, you know what? There is obviously at some point going to be a PlayStation showcase this year. I expect Naughty Dog to show up, man. Like you guys have been teasing this long enough. Let's see it. Hopefully. And then we can judge it based off of what they show for ourselves.